Hey guys, and welcome back for another video. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a demonstration video. I haven't done one of these in a long time, but we're going to take a look at the Janome buttonhole foot. Now this guy is not something that I was used to. When I first got my Janome MC6700P, I was like, what on earth is this contraption? So you might be feeling the exact same way. I have never seen anything like this. It's almost alien-like. How is this gonna make a buttonhole? But I assure you, this is the best one I've ever used, and it honestly makes some beautiful buttonholes. So of course in this video I'm going to show you how to install it in your machine, how to set up your machine to sew a buttonhole foot, and then we'll see it in action and actually sew up a beautiful buttonhole. So I hope that this dispels anything that you thought of this crazy contraption, and hopefully gives you the confidence to be able to make some fun projects, such as the skirt that I'm wearing is the farmhouse chic skirt that has buttons all down the front. Or I just made a beautiful button-up shirt, which is where I'm going to be installing my buttonholes. So without further ado, let's get into the demonstration. Okay, so I just want to go ahead and preface that this isn't the only buttonhole foot that the Janome makes, but this is just the one that I'm going to be demonstrating. So if you don't have this exact buttonhole foot, then there are videos that can show you how to use the other ones, but they are pretty similar. It just might not come with this extra piece here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put them together. We're sliding that into that little slot here, and we have our button available, and this right here is the little tray where we're going to place our button. This is going to gauge it so that it knows the correct size to be able to make for your button. So as this goes through the machine, it will sense how big that button is, and it's not going to make a really big buttonhole or a really small buttonhole. It's going to make the perfect size for that actual button. So it's really important to have the button that you're going to use in this little buttonhole tray. So we just have to open that up, we place it in, and then we just put it down there so that that button will not fall out. Now this little bar here, that's where we're going to attach it onto our machine, just like we would if we were installing any other foot. We're going to click it right into there. We also have these little lines here, those little markings, and that is where we're going to line up the marking for our buttonhole on our fabric. So keep that in mind. This little window here is what we're going to be looking through at our fabric down below to be able to place this perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to install it into the machine. Okay, so if you have a foot installed, we're going to go ahead and we're going to press the little button in the back and release our foot. And now if your machine allows two different levels, lift your presser foot all the way up to the very top, because we want to have lots of room to be able to get this under here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that button and we're going to put that in the back. That's how it's going to be. And then we're just going to click that into place, just like this. Now it's going to kind of want this part to be down below, and then this is just kind of going to hang down at the back, and that is okay, because now we have the opportunity to be able to slip our fabric into this spot here. Make sure that your needle is all the way up so it doesn't catch on your fabric. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this little bar here and we're going to pull this all the way down, and that's going to sit between the two plastic pieces here. Again, this bar here is going to show your machine how big your button is and how big the buttonhole needs to be. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and mark my buttonhole on my garment. So this is a button-up shirt. As you can see, I've already done a few other buttonholes. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the last one. If you have a template with your pattern, then you can go ahead and mark those out, or you can use a buttonhole gauge to plan them out. You just want to make sure that all your buttonholes are perfectly equally spaced. Now I'm marking the bottom of my buttonhole, and that's because when I mark the bottom, I know that when I put it in the machine, it's going to sew the buttonhole from the bottom, and then it's going to go up, and then it's going to go back down. So just remember that. Make sure when you do your buttonholes, you do them all in the same way so that they're all equally spaced. Because if you flip your fabric for one and then flip it for the other one, they're not going to be equally spaced, okay? So we're starting from the bottom, sewing up, and then back down. So now we can go ahead and we can slip our fabric into the machine. Now if you're using a cotton fabric, which is fairly light, or even a knit fabric, you want to make sure that you have a layer of interfacing in between. That's going to help it glide through the machine better so that you don't end up with any stretching or slipping or anything like that. So I have 2 layers of cotton here plus a layer of fusible interfacing, and that's going to give me a really crisp and clean buttonhole. Okay, so this is the buttonholes that are available in my machines. These are most machines do these buttonholes. I usually stick with a 023 to a 025 and 26. The 27 to 29, I think those are for larger buttons. So if you're doing maybe like a pea coat with one of those really large like wooden buttons, you know, that are like kind of oblong shape, that you're gonna have a thicker kind of shank on it, that'll fit nicely in that little circle part. But we're just gonna stick with kind of a normal standard buttonhole. So I'm gonna do 0.25. So on mine, I just need to know that I'm going to be doing it in mode 2. So right now I'm in mode 1. I'm going to click it again. Now it's in mode 2, and then I'm just going to type 0.25. And on my machine, it actually shows me a little picture. It also tells me that I need the R foot, which is that buttonhole to make, or buttonholer. So make sure that you have it installed in your machine, of course. And then it'll have some other things that you just really don't need to adjust. So now we can start to actually sew our button. Okay, we're gonna pretend like I haven't sewn the buttonhole foot because I lost the footage. But now we're going to take our fabric and we are going to slip it in between the layers of the buttonhole foot. And the little marking that we have, I'm just going to use the bottom of my buttonhole. That is going to line up with the red center line and then the red side lines. And you're going to make sure on the side that that is also lined up straight. So if it looks like that, then it's wrong. So we want that straight. We want the marking, which is the bottom of our buttonhole, lined up this way and then centered. And then we can close the presser foot. It is now stable and we can start sewing our buttonhole. Okay, so now we're going to start sewing. So you're going to press down on your foot pedal. Do not lift up until the machine is completely done what it needs to do. Okay, so now we have our buttonhole finished and it looks beautiful. If you have any threads, you can go ahead and trim those off. I think I got some threads kind of stuck in there, but they're not actually part of the buttonhole. So now you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut open the buttonhole so your button can go through it. So you can either use a stitch ripper where we're just going to poke a hole and then you can go all the way up, if you put a pin right along here when you're doing your stitch ripping, that will prevent you from going through the actual end of the buttonhole. Or you can use a device like this. It comes with a little mat here, and you can put that on your surface, and then you're just going to press down right in the middle. And this is just going to give you a nice clean slit. Just like that. So you can go ahead and put some fray check in there if you want to. But all those threads should keep your fabric from unraveling. So I wouldn't be too concerned. If you want to just cut off some of those excess threads, you might want to do that even using a little pair of scissors and get nice and close to the buttonhole. Just don't cut through your stitches. That's the most important thing. Okay, so now we have all of our buttonholes installed, and you can go ahead and put your buttons on, of course, in your preferred method, and then you can do up your buttonholes, and now you have a brand new garment. And honestly, those buttons are not as scary as you think they are. So I'm super thrilled with the way that this little top came out. This is the Melody from Love Notions, and I think it's super cute. Now I have my buttons all done up, and I can actually see if it fits me properly. So I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. Of course, any information that I have regarding the tools that I use will be in the links in the description box down below. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. And I have opened up this channel for memberships for exclusive content and emojis. So if you're interested in supporting me and the channel, feel free to join, which is also down below. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!